Well, I thought that I would just go live and show you my reveal of my latest eco printing. And, all the leaves are falling off around here in my area. And so yesterday I scavenged some new leaves off of some new trees that I found in some parking lots. And today was kind of a cool, blustery day. So I thought, hey, let's reveal this. Hi, Scotty. Oh, I don't know what these are going to turn out like because it's the first time I've used some of these. So it'll be fun, I hope. Hi, Melody. I know it'll be fun for me. So just in case it's fun for you guys too. Now this is just the paper that I wrapped around it to protect it from the rubber bands. Ah, it's warm. I just took them out. Let me just tear that. I don't need that. Hey, Vicky. I thought I was going to have company today. So, because I thought of having you girls come over today. But somebody from out of town was coming. And then around 10 o'clock this morning, they called and said something happened and they weren't going to be able to come. So I thought, oh, man. So I thought, well, whoa. So I thought I'm going to have them by myself. All right, so. Okay, now this paper here is, this is that backing to the wallpaper. That what do you call it? I forget what you call it. Wallpaper liner. Hello. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? That's my coleus from is that how you say it? The coleus that I have in my backyard. And this is the what? What are those called? I don't know why I get brain dead when I try to explain stuff to people. Those little yellow flowers everybody has? What are those called? Oh dear. No, wait, I gotta find a space to put all these. Hold on, I forgot to put something to get something where I could sit these all down. Hold on 1 second. I gotta get another tray. Okay, thought I was prepared. I wasn't. All right, now I can put them on here, right underneath my desk. Okay. All right. Anyway, I think this is pretty cool. And these little black dots, I decided to throw some black tea on there. And doesn't seem to have done really anything. Might have changed the color of the water, but it didn't. Sometimes, depending on the paper, it will leave some coloration, but that did not happen this time. Okay. Woohoo! Next Saturday, Melody, that'd be perfect. Why don't you ladies plan on next Saturday if you have an opening? Oh, pretty. I like that. Woo! And all this red that you see in here, I put a bunch of beets in the water, just loose in the water. Okay. All right. This is some more of that wallpaper liner. Not too much with these leaves. Everything can't be a winner now, people. Oh, it looks kind of cool back there. Nothing special, but it's kind of cool. Okay. And the colors do change. And depending on the paper, when it dries, sometimes it gets lighter, sometimes it gets darker. So you still never know what you're going to get until after it's completely dry. Oh, that's feels like watercolor. Looks like Vicky did it. Ah, look. Holy moly. Oh, how pretty. I know, I get excited. I can't help it. Now this is, I think this is printer's paper, I believe. To wash all that off. Pretty. Yeah, I know, Vicky. You're Miss Quickie. But at least I can do this. I can't do what you do. Oh, look. 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 Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Boy, this one went crazy. Very pretty. Mmm. Okay. Look how pretty. Ooh. I've never had that happen before like that. Like water spots. I've never, I mean, I can't even tell you how many batches I've done. I've never got water spots like that. Very unusual. So there's still things that can surprise you. Oh, look at that. Yeah. I like that. Hi, Janet. Look. Ah, wow. Oh. Is Vicky going to have to go back to the corner again? Look at that. Wow. How beautiful. Very pretty. Okay, now. Trying to remember what these were. Look at them. I think these were just miracles. It's only kind of flowers I have blooming out in my yard right now. Must be the miracles. It just depends on the paper. Now this is mixed media paper, this particular one. I think it's folded. No, the beets don't affect this because I used the coleus before without the beets and it was just as beautiful. So it just tinges the paper itself. I mean, I'm sure it helps in the contrast, but it doesn't do really anything to the color. Ugh. I like it. I like all the speckles. Can you see all those speckles? Hmm. Wow. Yoo-hoo. These are really coming out bright. I love it. Well, good thing my company didn't come. I wouldn't have done this had they come. Look how pretty on this side. There's no ugly side. Look at that. Okay. You can see my hands. Oh, it's not staining my hands too much. That's good. Whoa! You can smell it? What is that? What does that mean? You can smell it. I didn't feel like smelling just the vegetable smell. So I didn't put any vinegar because I didn't feel like smelling that either. And I put a bunch of some powdered cloves in there, so it smelled like I was baking. Woohoo! This is watercolor paper. You know what is so odd to me? Out of all the papers I use, the watercolor paper, which this is 140 pound, I think, is the most flimsy. It tears. I mean, it's really cool when it's, once it dries, but when it's wet, it's worse than all the other papers. I don't understand that, but oh well. I know. Same thing with me. I've signed up for notifications for different people's you know, channels, and I always get them at the least 15 minutes late. And I'm thinking, what's going on around here? If I know they have a particular time, I just kind of go lurking around. But if I wait for a notification, they're always late. Anyway. Oh, look how pretty. Created like a frame. Da, 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 da. Pretty. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I don't understand it. I subscribe to a couple of different people where I never get notifications about anything from them at all. And there are a few that I have you know, clicked on it to get notified, and then I go back and it's not clicked. So every once in a while, I go back and recheck them because for some reason they must reset them. YouTube resets it or something. I don't know. But I have to go and set it again to get any kind of notification. Woohoo! Look at that. Very pretty. Oh, oh, oh. Somebody had asked me, I forget who, someone had asked me to do some digitals of my papers. These would be beautiful. But oh, look at that. Oh. Now, the one fortunate thing about this is that this leaf, all the leaves on this particular page are all in my yard right now on the ground. So you know what I'm going to be doing. Scoop, scoop, scoop it up, scoop it up. Oh, man. Do the red leaves work? It depends what plant the red leaves are from. It isn't necessarily the color of the leaf. It's the plant or the tree that it comes from. So look. Without boiling, you can steam them if you don't want to boil. I don't like to steam because it takes like at least twice as long to get the same effect. And I'm too impatient for that. Yeah, so if you're a greenie, you don't want to you don't want to steam. because you're wasting even more energy if you steam them. What's the best paper to use? You know, I'll tell you my opinion. Any paper you like, because I've read the best paper is watercolor paper. That's not my favorite at all. I use a lot of just regular copy paper, and they come out beautiful. I think the one that does give probably the richest print is the it's called printing paper or printer's paper. Oh, I forget what it's called now. I'll show you in a second. And then I like this one too. This is just mixed media. Mixed media works really well also. So I don't have a favorite. They even looks really good if you use, you know, like old book pages, or if you have music sheets, really anything. See, this is mixed media, and you can see how pretty. The ones I've been showing so far have been a combination of all kinds of papers. Yeah, Melody, music sheets look beautiful. I actually haven't done that yet. I have a whole bunch in a box upstairs at my house. I should bring some down and do that next time. I've seen someone else do them, and they were really pretty. These are coming out pretty cool, aren't they? Well, you have to stop and think, you know, where I live, it's fall. And so a lot of the foliage is turning. And when they turn, I'm not a botanist, I don't understand it all. But when they turn, they are, if they naturally have a lot of tannin in them, it starts to release the tannin even more so. And that is, whoops, that's what creates your prints, is the richness in tannin. And so right now is like the top viewing time for fall foliage, and also I would say the top time to start doing your printing with your fall foliage. Look how pretty. Whoopsie, forgot that. Woo. And unfortunately, it seems like almost every year around here, the foliage peaks and it's going to be just beautiful. And then we get some kind of a rain or windstorm, and kaboom, everything's on the ground. And it's a really short period that the fall leaves are actually on the trees. They go quite quickly from the tree to the ground with the wind. So that just means I have to run around with a little rake and a bucket and picking up leaves all over the place. Now, one thing I have surmised when picking up my leaves is the more little speckles that are on these leaves, the cooler prints that I get. So now not only do I have to look for the right leaf from the right tree at the right time, now I'm checking out their underside and checking out their speckles. I really hope nobody's watching me when I'm doing that. Okay. See all those little speckles that, yeah, I don't know if you can see them, but that was from that underside of that one particular leaf that gets these speckles, and it prints all the little speckles. I think that's what's so cool. Okay, so that side is done. And let me get the little wrapper off of this one. Now this is just copy paper. If I had turned it upside down and been gentle, I could have removed it, but I didn't. I didn't want to burn my fingers, although this has cooled down quite a bit. Okay, let's see here. Ooh, pretty, pretty, pretty. Now there's this tree that is over in my Home Depot, and I bet you all the leaves have been knocked off last night from yesterday from the rain that we had. I'm gonna have to go cruise over there today, so I think it's supposed to rain again tonight, which means more things will fall down. But that's where I got this leaf. It was Home Depot. Yes, I do recognize my leaves and where I got them. Lordy, lordy, how pretty. How pretty. I hope you can see those little speckles there that I'm talking about. All those little speckles right there. Is when you look on the underside, you probably can't see it because it's all wet, but when you look on the other side, underside, there's little black dots on there, and that's what will print like that. Now this is not printing that color. Underneath is that other plant, and it bled through, see? So this is not printing that, but it is creating the shape with that color. So you can manipulate it once you understand what your plants do and what colors they print. Then you can start being creative and layer your leaves to create certain looks. Ta-da! Ta-da! The big reveal of the little one. The big reveal of the little one. Okay. Look how pretty. Now see this particular paper, which is, I think this is the watercolor paper. This did pick up the dye from the tea. Now the other papers did not. So now those little black speckles you see, those are permanent in there. The other ones, they were just sitting on top and they'll just wash off. But this particular paper, it did pick up all of the little speckles from the tea. Let's see, do you iron the paper at any point? If I put my papers, if I dye with, print with, if I print with copy paper and I'm going to put them in a journal, I tend to iron them. Otherwise, I really don't iron the other papers. And the only reason I iron them is is because I put them in journals that I sell, and a lot of people don't like them, you know, totally wrinkly. I don't mind them. I like them. Oh, oh, look how pretty. I like them all wrinkly. But you got to get at the people what they like. So, you don't iron yours? Yeah, I wouldn't mind either. But if I put them in my packs that I sell too, I iron those. Look at that. I'm so glad I invited you guys to join this. This is just so cool. Look, it'd have been sad if they'd all been a dud. Rosemary, why are you wasting our Saturday time? So all I can tell you is if you like doing this next year in the spring, make sure you plant some coleus because they just bleed, bleed, bleed and print so pretty. I only had one plant and there's so many different varieties. I think I'm going to have like a whole coleus garden next spring and summer. Am I missing any questions? Let me see. Do I ever know? Yeah, I've done these in encaustic on some of my journals that I sold. It looks really beautiful. Some of my nature journals. Okay, what is this? Now, see, I can tell by the feel because it's ready to rip. This is watercolor paper. I like how it prints on it, but it is like super delicate while it's wet. Seems like it's even more delicate than just copy paper. I don't know why. Maybe Vicki can explain. She knows her papers. Okie dokie. What is this? This is, I think this is some more, yeah. See how it's all like ready to fall apart? This is watercolor paper. I'm gonna have to wipe that down. Pretty, 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 pretty. On this one, I put quite a bit of the tea. Didn't do too much on this particular paper. I forget what this paper is. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Happy, happy. Okay, let me double check. What was that? Hey, I'm happy. This is my front yard. I may not have to go be traipsing all over the county like I thought I was. This is from my own tree. I'm excited. I think this is going to be like the last of my marigolds. Well, they keep blooming around here until we get a freeze. So maybe I'll put them on my, they're in, I have some in some containers. Maybe I'll put them on the porch so they won't freeze. See how long they bloom. And there again, I'm going to plant a lot of different varieties of the marigolds. There are quite a few. Some print and some don't. So it's just you have to test it out. Look how pretty. Mint leaves, holly, pansies. Is that a question? Will fern work? Different types of ferns do. They will, at the very least, they will create like a negative, so that if you have other plants that are bleeding out their dye, you know, you'll get a pretty cool shape. But not all of them do, unfortunately. Now the Boston fern does, and I don't know what they call them all over the place, but I know this one fern by Australian tree fern. I don't know what the real name is. That's just the name I know it by. They print really well too. But I would just try everything. Try everything at least once. And if you're going to start doing this, create yourself a little diary, a little journal of what works and what doesn't work, and your little concoction that you've got a certain look, and what you added, what worked, what didn't. Like, for instance, you know, the tea doesn't work on all of these papers, only some of them. Yeah, Karen. Are you in the States, Karen? What state are you in if you are? Oh yeah, you've got all of the trees right now. It's just beautiful. Run, don't walk. Now, see, there's a lot of trees I don't have around me, you know, because they're here in the United States, and there's so many regional plants. And, oh, look at that. That's pretty too. Look at that. Because you get the purple from the coleus, and then it just bleeds all over and looks so pretty. You never looked at Lowe's. Oh, yes. Lowe's, the trees that I'm talking about actually are the ones in the parking lot. They have some cool trees in the parking lot at Lowe's and on Home Depot. And then I just noticed, you know, because I didn't look at plants like I look at them now. And I went down a different route on the way home one day, and I saw these beautiful trees in the parking lot of the hospital. So I told my husband, oh, I got to look at those, because they were starting to turn really beautiful. Look at that. And I've got to try those. I have to try those plants. So what I have is I have one of those little rakes. I mean, it's only about that wide. It's to get into little spaces in your garden. But so it's tiny. So I have it behind the seat in my truck. Oh, look, 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 look. Oh my. See, it led through and creates all of that. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so now this is, just so you know, this is probably the best paper. Let me find out what this is. I really like that paper. I always get the name wrong on it. I call it printer's paper. It's not. Printmaking. All right. It's not cheap. You get 20 sheets for $11, but of course, go coupon time and, get this. And I guess obviously, however it is made, because it's made for printmaking, it's obviously going to take the colors the best. And this is the printmaking paper. It's probably the most expensive that I use, but every time I'm so happy with it. And runner up to this is mixed media, which, you can get that pretty cheap. And then I like just copy paper too. It comes out really cool. You have, Karen, you have hundreds. Oh, yes. The maple is beautiful if that's what you have. That would work. And see what I do, because I obviously can't print all of my leaves that are on the ground. I collect them and I put them in the small little, those paper bags you can get at the grocery store for old time lunches, retro lunches. And I get my leaves and I organize them, by tree and put them in the bag. And then I label on the outside what tree it came from. And then I just fold it up and I stick it in the freezer. And then when I'm ready in this winter time, now winter comes and there's no leaves anywhere, I'm still just my little happy boiler. Go over to my freezer, pick out what tree or groups of trees of leaves or even flowers that I want to print. And then there you go. I start my printing. So you can start now. Oh, there you go. See? And you can just collect all those and start putting your leaves in there. Now, this is that liner for the wallpaper. I kind of like it and I kind of don't. But it's very, very cheap. You can get this by the roll. You can get it like, wherever they sell wallpaper. And it comes in a roll and it's pretty thick. And it's designed for you to put, if you have walls that are uneven and you want to wallpaper them, you, instead of spackling and trying to level out your wall, they sell this thick stuff. And you put it on your wall and then you put the wallpaper on top of this. And so it's very inexpensive and it's good for printing. And it's good if you're just for, anything you want to do as far as mixed media. Very inexpensive. All right. Oh, look at that. And that's just on the paper that I tore. Why did I do that? See now, see how this is printed and all that is just, that's just copy paper that's printed on. See how beautiful? That was the paper I used to wrap around my bundle. And that was just copy paper. So you can see how, let me pull this out. You can see how, even though it's delicate and it's thin, it prints really, really beautiful. And so I'll just save this and let that dry. And then I can use that, for maybe some pieces on some tags or something that doesn't matter if I tear them up or a collage or whatever. But this right here, that print that you see right there, that's just copy paper. So pretty cool. So any of you that, you know, if this is the first time you've seen this or you haven't done it, there are a few videos out there. I have a video that I made when I very first started. So the information there can get you started, and, you know, you'll be happy with your results. And I think it's about, it was about a year ago. So if you go to my channel, you have to go to scroll back to about a year ago, and a little over a year ago, and you can get all the information in the video. And then once you try it, and if you like it, I have a online course in my Etsy shop that takes you a little step further. So in honor of those that have paid, I can't give you all the information because that wouldn't be right to them. But you can get a lot of information off of that free video. And what was the question? Let me see. I haven't been able to look. Hi, Gwen. I'm glad you could join us. Let's see. You tell. All right. When I first started using alum, I only used alum because that's what I read somewhere. But the vinegar, what that does is if you've done any dyeing like on fabrics, you know that helps set the color, and it's the same concept with the paper. A lot of people, I think, has transposed the method of doing this on cloth to paper. And in my opinion, all those steps aren't necessarily necessary, because when you do it on cloth, obviously you want it to be color fast, because you know, you're going to maybe wear the items, and so you want to make sure that the colors, you know, are there. And then but with paper, you know, it's usually going to be like with us that in mixed media, it's going to be inside of a book or something. So the color really doesn't, I mean, the light really doesn't have that much to do with it. But that's one of the reasons for putting the vinegar in. And the alum, it's a mordant that helps the colors be more vivid. Yeah, alum you can buy it at the grocery store, because alum, if you are an individual who does pickling or knows someone who pickles, that's what you use. So it's over there where in the spiced area. If you buy it that way, initially, you know, you get a little small thing for like $3 or $4. But if you decide in the future that it's something that you really enjoy doing, it's cheaper to buy it by the bulk, and you can get that at Amazon. And I think you can get, it's like a pound or something for like $10. But if you think you're going to do it, you know, that's the way to go, is to get it by the bulk. It's a lot cheaper that way. All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for sharing my oohs and ahs. I think this might be one of my favorites. All those colors. I don't know if you guys can really see all the detail. Very pretty. And this is also with the printmaking paper, this particular one, these two. So yeah, if you want to try and do this, just go to the other printmaking one. Just go to my video, the initial one, and it'll give you a lot of information on what to do. And then if you need more information, I do have a class, online class. Woohoo! This is also the printmaking paper. Yeah, I think if I had to choose, it'd probably be the printmaking paper. But then again, maybe I'm lying because this is the watercolor paper. Look how pretty. Okay, I lied. I don't know. My original answer, I'm going to stick by. All the papers are good papers. You'll figure out what your favorite is, you know, once you start doing it yourself. Um, you know, yeah, Karen, there are artists that's what they do. They do these prints, and they frame them and they sell them, and people buy them. So there is a market out there for these just to be framed. And I think they're really pretty. My problem is I never can decide which side I like more. That's why it works out pretty good if you're a journal, because you get to see all the pages. Now see, I folded that and there's almost a tear right there. That's how sensitive the watercolor paper is when it's wet. It's way too delicate. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Okay. All right, you ladies that are in my vicinity that come to my studio, let's plan on some playtime next Saturday. And with the time change, and I know some of you don't want to drive at night, if you guys want to come before 12, later on, you know, just message me there in the group, you know, if you want to come earlier. That way we have the same amount of time, but you can leave before, you know, it starts getting dark. You guys just let me know. Okay, well, Karen, I'm so glad. It's always fun when you learn something, you know, you're exposed to something new, and especially something that you literally have in your yard. You have everything you need to use. You know, you really do. Maybe the only thing you have to go buy is alum. And you can get that for little jars for like maybe $3 at your local grocery store to get started. And all I would do is, okay, this is what I do is, or there's two ways you can do it. You can put like a scoop of teaspoon in your water, and that will help create, you know, all of this look. Or some people prep their paper. I never do, but some people do, with an alum and some water. I don't do that. And then some people will sprinkle, you know, some of that water on your paper. You know, whatever you want to do. Like I say, it's everybody, it's different for everybody, because the types of leaves, even the contents of the mineral content in your water, you know, will affect how it comes out. The types of papers that you use, the plant you use, everything. So it's you know, nobody's is going to be the same, but that's the fun part. You know, every time you do this, for me, I've been doing this for over a year, and you see, I get excited every time because they're never the same. And so it's like a little opening up a little gift, you know, every time. Yeah, Karen, you better get busy because you right now, you've got all the good stuff there right now before you get snow. And again, you know, if you're not ready, you know, to actually do this right now, just collect all your leaves and stick them in the freezer. And, you know, and then when you get ready, you can get organized and feel like you want to do it and have the time, then you can get started. Yeah. Okay, ladies, thank you so much. And thank you for joining me. And get busy. If nothing else, get out there and start collecting your leaves. All right. Bye-bye.